This machine is known as the scroll saw. And the scroll saw, its use is making curves and angle and circle cuts. And the reason why it's called a scroll saw is because the way this machine operates, it operates in a reciprocating motion, which means it moves up and down. Kind of like what a sewing machine would, except instead of a needle, it uses a blade. In order to turn the scroll saw on, there's a turn dial on the very front, this little dial right here. When using the scroll saw, this is a good machine when it comes to making curves and angle cuts. Straight cuts, it can make straight cuts, but it's very difficult. The general rule of thumb is the thinner the blade, the more of a turn or a circle cut that is possible. The thicker the blade or the wider that it is, it makes better straight cuts altogether. When you're making a cut, keep either hand on either side of the blade, the cut line, and when you're cutting, it's important to push if you're making a straight cut, and if you need to make a turn, you have to push and turn at the same time. If you just start turning, it's going to twist the blade and eventually the blade will snap. You have to push and turn if you want to make an angle or like a curve cut. The very first safety rule with the scroll saw is to check the blade. The blade is right here, and the blade moves in an up and down motion. You check the blade by plucking the back of it, not the front, the back, like a guitar string with one finger. You should hear like a high pitch like ding, which means that it's tight. If it sounds like it's loose, or if you're not sure, have me take a look at it and I will tighten it for you. The next safety rule is to make sure that you check and adjust the hold down. The hold down is a silver part that kind of looks like a fork. Its job is to hold the piece of wood down so it doesn't bounce up and down. So in order to adjust the hold down, there's an orange knob on the left hand side. You turn it to the left just a few turns to loosen it up, and the hold down can be either raised or lowered. You take your piece of wood, put it next to the blade, lower it down so it's touching the piece of wood. Then you want to make it nice and snug and tight so it doesn't go anywhere. The test to see if you adjusted the hold down correctly, push the piece of wood into the machine. You should feel just a slight amount of pressure pushing down on your piece of wood by the hold down. In order to turn the machine on, there's a turn dial on the very front, and the more that you turn it, the faster that it goes. And depending on the thickness of the material, if it's a very thin piece of material, you want it down towards the low side, not too low, about halfway. If it's a thick piece of material, kind of like what we use in class, take the speed and turn it the whole way up. When using the scroll saw, keep both hands on either side of the cut line, the imaginary line that travels from the front side of the blade straight back towards you.